every time we drive by a mobile home park, I slow down. I start thinking and going, my investing gears start turning. So a warning to you, when you start doing mobile home investing, you're going to change the way you look at the world.
Hi everyone, welcome to Easy Homes University. Today, Dan and I are going to be sharing a little bit about Mobile Home Investing 101. And we're going to be covering 5 key points that are critical for you to successfully invest in mobile homes. So let's first talk about, before we get into those, a little bit about your strategy. So what would you like to share, Dan, about the strategy for people?
Well, I think if you're thinking about becoming an investor in anything, or mobile homes for that, you've got to kind of have an idea in your mind of what do you want as your strategy, your plan, your goal. Do you want to create passive income? Do you want to do a quick flip and get paid quickly? What is your goal? That's really something I think you need to go into this having at least that thought in your mind. And maybe you're not really sure. Working with us and following our episodes will help you maybe figure out what that is.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're going in with a mindset you want to make $5,000 or $6,000 on a home, you better be looking for a pretty sweet deal. Or if you want to make $1,000, that's a different goal.
Right.
So let's start with number one. So number one is where to find the parks and or the mobile home inventory. So one thing that we've done in our past is you actually used to drive around to parks, and you can do that, spend countless hours driving around and discovering them, but the age of the internet allows that to happen a little bit quicker than just driving around. So do you remember how we used to do it? Or
we put thousands of miles on our cars every year, but nowadays, with the digital age, there are 40,000 parks in the United States. Most states have 1,000 or more parks in them.
Yep.
They're in your community. Sometimes they might be right there, right in front of you, and you just didn't notice them. I know that was the case for me. I was driving by parks my whole life and really didn't even know they were there. So you can find them through a Google search. There's other ways to find them. We actually have the full inventory of 40,000 parks on our CRM system.
Yeah, at our disposal at any time. You're right. Which is going to help all of you in the future. But in your neck of the woods, you probably don't even know it, but you might have 10, 20 different parks within a 10, 15, 20-minute radius of your home. And once you discover them, you'll be amazed at how many there are. And not to mention the land home opportunities, right?
Right. And you'll once you've done your first deal, I know it was true with me. My wife used to make fun of me is every time we drive by a mobile home park, I slow down. I start thinking and going, my investing gears start turning. So a warning to you, when you start doing mobile home investing, you're going to change the way you look at the world. Yeah,
exactly. It's kind of like when you buy that car and then all of a sudden you notice, oh my gosh, that same model's on the car. I keep seeing more and more of them.
Right.
It just kind of happens that way. So that's that's the first point. All right. So the second one is talking to parks. These guys are the gatekeepers. Let's just put it out there. If you don't communicate with parks, this thing's going to be a hot mess. All right. So Dan and I can attest and be witnesses that you can try to do it your way, or you can communicate with the parks and really create a relationship, or you're just it's going to be an uphill battle. I can remember when we were doing deals, and I can remember you too going to parks, talking to the managers, really, determining that I want to buy a home. Can I buy a home here? Are you okay with me doing this? And
what are the ground rules?
What are the ground rules? Yeah.
Yep. And how? What do I have to do to comply with your rules so that we can make this smooth?
Yeah.
And sometimes they're maybe a little daunting, but typically what we found out is if you are creating that relationship with the park owner or manager, you're just going to have a much easier time of investing in park or in homes in their community.
Yeah, and one of the fun things about that is, when you go to a park and it becomes a win-win. If it's about them and allowing you to have an opportunity to serve them, it makes a difference. Because if you come in and it's arrogant, it's all about you, I want to do this, I want to do that, they're going to just push back. But if you come in like, hey, how can I contribute to your park? How can I make a difference for you? You know, what are some problem areas? Do you have older homes that maybe you want to get rid of that are being burdened, a little burdensome for you? They may become your market.
Right.
I mean, how many parks have given us homes, an opportunity to buy, or just gave us a home
Right.
over
And
the years?
one of the things that's really important is a lot of these parks are corporately owned. So you may visit one park in your area and it's owned by a corporate
Right.
Entity, and they've got 20 other parks within 50 miles of your area. And if you have a good relationship with that park, guess what happens? They start to share you and your relationship with the other parks,
Yep.
and it just starts to grow.
That happened
So
with
now-
us. I remember up in Lapeer, one park, went in. I was pretty arrogant the first time. The second time I came in, asked them how I could make a difference for them, how we could, and she looked at me like, "What is going on with you? You came in, you were this tall, arrogant guy, and now you're talking about partnership and all that." And I just said, "Listen, yeah, that's what I want to do." And fast forward, 1 year, I think we listed and sold 20 plus homes in their park. She told her regional manager, told the other park managers, now we got opportunities in 4 or 5 parks. It just takes one really good relationship, and that'll carry over. Good news carries fast as well as bad news. So
Yeah, it's right, and exactly. And a lot of times these managers get promoted.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they become the regional manager,
And they don't
now,
forget.
and now they're overseeing 10 parks instead of just
Yeah.
one, and so your opportunities just multiply.
exactly.
All right, so point 3, determine your market. What we did in the old days, back in the 2000s, is I created a dummy ad in my area, and I ran it in the newspaper. That's probably not as a good strategy these days because newspapers are not very, they're more scarce now, and advertising in newspapers is expensive. But I ran a dummy ad on a home that I was considering buying. The response was overwhelming. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. In fact, I used my landline at the time, and it was driving my wife crazy too because the phone wouldn't stop ringing for like a week, 2 weeks. But it told me that what it revealed to me was that if I bought this home, now I knew that I had just all kinds of demand, and I would be able to sell it in a minute. And I did. I bought. In fact, I had a buyer already lined up before I went and signed the papers to buy the home. And that's a perfect outcome.
Yeah.
You go
Oh,
in,
yeah.
you're confident, you've already got a buyer waiting in the wings, and now you can just execute with confidence.
Yeah, not only that, if you do that and then you went and bought a home, you had all these 15, 20, 30 people call, you can only sell it to one person. So now you've got all these other people in line and you don't have another home. But now you've got more confidence to go out and buy because you can tell these people, listen, it's sold, but I'm looking at other homes, and as soon as I find one, you've already got your buyers already set up. I remember doing that quite often. I usually like to have 2 homes, in a community at one time because it was only one person can buy it, and then you could sell the next one. Another way you can do it is, you can go online, put an ad out that way too, like you said, Dan, and get that feedback.
Right.
Talking to parks is critical too. The feedback that they're going to give you is, once again, invaluable, and it's free. So take the managers or the sales managers' opinions. They've been running this show for a lot longer than you have, and they'll give you insights of what you can expect in that area.
Right, and
So-
fast forward, a decade later, we've got new tools that we use all the time to determine whether we've got a market out there for a particular home we're getting ready to buy. And part of that sort of determination is we've got buyers waiting in the wings to buy homes from us.
Right.
And they're literally calling us, emailing us, texting us, Dan, I'm looking for a 16 by whatever. I'm looking for a double wide, and it's and so we're just trying to fill orders at some point, and we can help you get to that point where you're literally trying to fill orders, and that's a great position to be in.
It is, yeah. And then you can buy in confidence, knowing
Yeah.
that you've got buyers on your side.
The next point here is exit strategy. What we mean by that is before you buy your first investment or your second or 100th, you want to really know what's your exit strategy. And are you looking to do a fast flip? Are you looking to do some kind of a hold where you buy it, you sell it maybe on terms and carry paper? Maybe it's a rental or a lease with option to purchase. And Dan's got an example that he wants to share with us in Battle Creek that just came up here within the last week or so.
Yeah. I got a lead, believe it or not, from a park manager from a different park, and there was a home in a community that was a double wide, and they had a 2-car garage on it. And I had to determine quickly in looking, my relationship grab bag, if you will. Did I have a relationship with that park? Yes, I did. My sister used to live there. It's a big conglomerate company, and we have a really good relationship. So I could go in there with confidence and purchase that home. But immediately afterwards, I remember going to the park manager and sharing with her that we did buy it, and my option was to really work with them to keep it there. But even before that, I had to look. That 2-car garage could be a problem. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to flip that home where it sits, it's not a problem. But if I got to flip it and it's going to leave the park for that as an option, then I got to spend a couple grand to get that out. So I had to look at that and add in my mind how much is that going to cost, the time, the impact, and make a buying decision. But I had all that already established because we have 1,400 plus deals we've done, and the confidence of having that relationship. And boom, we did the deal, and right now we're looking like they're going to probably purchase it back.
Yep.
And they love the fact that we came in and just shared it with them, and they were grateful. Really grateful.
One of the things that goes through my mind as we buy the next home, which we typically are buying 2 or 3 a week, is I'm thinking, what's the worst case outcome that I could possibly have with this home? And if I can live with the worst case outcome and still make a couple of grand on it, then we'll probably pull the trigger on it.
We'll go forward.
Yeah. So that's kind of how my gears turn. Maybe Dan's a little bit different, but I'm thinking, what's the worst case outcome? And if I can live with that, then let's go forward with it.
Yeah, and one other exit strategy you can have, Dan just shared about fast flip, hold, renting. There's also the retail market, because if you build these relationships with parks, there's a good opportunity that you might want to hold that home, because if you're in the wholesale business, that $4,000 home might get you $8,000, $85,000, $9,000, which is a great outcome. But if you talk to the park and they're saying, well, that home's worth $18,000 to $25,000 in the park, if you just leave it here, why wouldn't you try to partner with them and retail it and actually enroll them into helping you sell it? Even if you had to pay them 10%, you pay them $2,000 or $2,500, and you put an extra $10,000 in your pocket. How many of you would do that? So the retail market is really an option, but you have to create the relationship. You have to know the ground rules. You have to have buy-in. Otherwise, you just can't come in there and tell them what you're going to do. So I can't stress that enough. So.
Yeah, one other point I think we'd like to make is that although parks are really probably one of the best places to find mobile home deals, 70% of the homes in the country are on private land. We buy a lot of homes on private land. So there's opportunities out there as well. Most of those have to be moved, but we can also get into land home type of opportunities, and we've done quite a few of those in our past, and we can share those with you as well. So I think we're at bullet point number 5 here.
Yeah, so after all that, now you're ready to buy and invest. So really, once you've determined all that, you can start negotiating. You can start looking at what the value proposition is, and then you can start making offers. But without those top 4 before that, you can't put the cart before the horse, as they say. It's critical that you knock those points down. So that's a little bit about Mobile Home Investing 101, and we'll look forward to seeing everybody at our next episode. Thanks so much for watching Easy Homes University.
Make sure you like this video and subscribe to see our future episodes.